This is my presentation regarding presentation on hard to reach and underserved area analyze. I'm using the GIS and QGIS based approach to measure inaccessibility to primary healthcare services and to identify. So before I'm starting my session, let's have a look about the detail about the background. Also, uh, uh, why we use such approach to identify the population, the population or the settlements that they are not access to healthcare in here in Afghanistan. So let's start from the background, then I will continue the presentation. The situation in Afghanistan highlights challenges in providing adequate healthcare services to their population while progress has been made. So there is still much work to be done. Also, work in a better situation, in a better way to make a decision for the public, Ministry of Public Health here in Afghanistan to do better decision, to cover those people, to cover this population, to cover this settlement that they are not have access to the primary healthcare facilities, services here. There is still much work to be done to improve health outcomes and ensure equitable distribution of healthcare services. Second, also an even distribution of healthcare facilities, which can significant portion of population without access to the essential healthcare services here in Afghanistan. So with more than 25% of population residing in area where primary healthcare services are not accessible within 1 hour walking distance. So the Ministry of Public Health decided to provide a committee which calling underserved area committee mapping. So to address this issue, the MOPH did you see the presentation? Okay. The Ministry of Public Health to address the issue, to cover those settlement, to cover those population, to make a decision, to make a healthcare services for those area which they are not have access to the facilities. So to address this issue, the MOPH or Ministry of Public Health here in Afghanistan has established the White Area Committee Mapping and Support Committee, which aim to identify underserved area and develop a roadmap of delivering essential healthcare services to those community. So regarding to people that they are in the area which is underserved or which in the area to hard to reach the health services for them, Ministry of Public Health decided to make a decision to make a committee to provide health services for this area which they are far from the health facilities. So as you see the screen, there's a picture with the health workers doing some medicines, providing some medicines to hard to reach area. They're, as you see, they passing from the mountains. So as you know, Afghanistan is mountainous country that they are to provide health cares or health cares for those people which they are in the far underserved area, which means far from the facility where they are not access. They facilitate with the tools they have. So the ministry established a committee to mapping those areas in the ArcGIS and in the QGIS to make a result, to make a decision for them. So by doing this, Ministry of Public Health can improve health outcomes and promote a more just and equitable society for all. So this is the way, vision of the Ministry of Public Ministry of Public Health to access healthcare for the peoples that they are far from the coverage of the areas. So this was the background, as I mentioned. So 25% of the population residing in the area where the primary healthcare service are not accessible within 1 hour walking distance. So this was the main an important point which the public health here in Afghanistan, Kabul, decided to make a committee to provide the healthcare systems. So regarding this, I make a presentation, jointly presentation with the QGIS teams and with the Ministry of Public GIS teams. So my name is Malik Yousafzai from the GIS unit and GIS senior member in the Ministry of Public Health. And I make this presentation jointly with the MOP, with the WHO GIS team, to present today for viewers. So let's go ahead. Content of the presentation I will present for today is four content. The first one is what's a GIS and how does it work, why GIS for health and universal health coverage. Second, we present some methods, some techniques for the catchment area measurement to measure and to cover those people which are there underserved. The third one is white area analysis to underserved population. So we make some analysis from the survey and from the data which are come from the feeds. So later I will make some detail with these points. The fourth one is a way forward, leveraging geospatial data to accelerate health impact. So at first, I want to clarify underserved white area and underserved hard to reach area. So what is underserved or white area, and what is underserved hard to reach area? As you see in the screen, underserved or white area locations that are beyond 1 hour walking distance or more than 5 kilometers from the nearest public health facilities and are currently not served by a public health facilities. As I mentioned in the background, that there is some of the population and settlements, they are not have access to the health cares. They are far from the nearest facility to their regions, to their villages, to their areas, about 5 kilometers or 1 hour's distance area. So white area is the exact definition of white area is, as you see in the screen, underserved hard to reach area. It refers to area, it refers to population, it refers to settlement located beyond 2 hours walking distance or 10 kilometers from nearest static public health facility with the asphalted road. So hard to reach area, those area which we cannot cover health access to the population. Maybe it's mountainous, maybe there is a river between these two areas, maybe snowing areas. So in the we cannot provide some health access or health provide to them population. So I made this presentation. Is there any question regarding to underserved area or hard to reach, or I should continue? I'm Torrent. Okay, so let's go ahead. What's geographic information system? As I mentioned in the content, as we know, all geographic information system is for a special system that creates, analyzes, and maps all types of data. This is the definition which I get it from the history sites. So, as you know, we can create and manage, analyze, and maps out of data. So GIS or QGIS can get us access to analyze our spatial data, to analyze our geographic data, to manage our data and maps, all type of data, to showing them in maps, to make a decision and provide a decision for the health outcomes and for the health provide to those peoples which are the underserved area. You know, GIS connects data to a map, integrate location data where things are. So this is the good definition for the GIS or QGIS. As you know, QGIS also open source platform. I make this this presentation or this output both in QGIS and GIS. So, and later I will I will provide some more information about that. With all types of descriptive information, what things are like there. You know, to provide a foundation for mapping and analysis that use it to science and almost every industry. GIS help users understand patterns, relationship, and geographic context. The benefits include improved communication and efficiency, as well as better management and decision making. How does GIS work? As you know in the screen, as you see the screen, there's 4 types of platforms, 4 types of sections that GIS work, like data, analysis, maps, apps. GIS, as you know, GIS technology applies geographic science, geographic information with tools for understanding and collaboration. It helps people reach a common goals to gain actionable entry from all type of data. As you know, QGIS or ArcGIS is the best platforms to analyze our data, to analysis and managing our data. So to provide health cares for those people with their hard to reach areas or underserved area. The first one is data. GIS integrate many different kinds of data layers using spatial location. Most data has a geographic component. GIS data includes imagery, features, and base maps linked to spreadsheets and tables. In the analyze section, special analyze lets you evaluate suitability and compatibility, estimate and predict, interpret and understand, and much more. lending new perspective to your insight and decision making. And the map section, maps are the geographic containers, as you know well, for the data layer and analytics you want to work with. GIS map are easily shared and embedded in apps and accessibility by virtually everyone, everywhere. And the apps provide a focused user experience for getting work done and bringing GIS to life for everyone. GIS app work virtually everywhere on your mobile phones, tablets, and web browser and on desktop. Why GIS for health? This is the uh, exact question that we provide to responsibility or in charge person is the Ministry of Public Health. Why GIS for health? As well, health is our essential and good system. So understanding the impact of place leads to better health. As countries progress toward universal health coverage (UHC), there is a need for geographic information regarding the spatial distribution of available health services in relation to population health needs. The geographic location of health services has a direct impact on health outcomes within countries by affecting how quickly patients can seek care when faced with illness and injuries. Spatial data and geographic information system (GIS) technology can underscore coverage gaps in the population we hope to reach. The opportunity to improve workflows and the ability to plan for mitigate against unforeseen events. Applied GIS and QGIS leads to improved health outcomes, increased accessibility to healthcare, and healthier communities. So this is the exact goals and object of the why we use GIS for the health system. Universal health coverage, strengthening health system based on PHC public health communities should result in measurable health impact in countries. As you know, universal health coverage means that all people have access to full range of quality health services they need, when and where they need them, without financial hardship. It covers the full continuum of essential health services, from health promotion to prevention, treatment, rehabilitation, and palliative care. So every country has a different path to achieving universal health coverage, and deciding what to cover based on the needs of their people and the resource at hand. However, the importance of access to health services and information as a basic human right is universal. To make the second one, to make health for all reality, all people must have access to high quality services for their health and the health of their families and communities. To do so, a skilled health worker providing quality people centered care, and policymaker committed to investing in universal health coverage are essential. Universal health coverage requires strong people-centered primary health care. Good health systems are rooted in the communities they serve. The focus not only on preventing and treating disease and illness, but also on helping to improve well by doing and by being and quality of life. Any question? Still here? Okay. Let's see the next session. So the basic session I'm waiting for is there, that we using some methods for catchment area measurements to finding the people which they are living in underserved area or hard to reach area. They don't access to the healthcare. Method for catchment areas measurement. Catchment area, as you know, the area and the population from which a city or individual surveys attacks visitor for customers. So as you see the screens, uh, these are the methods we analyze it in the QGIS and ArcGIS to finding the people, to finding the villages, to finding the population and settlement which they are in the underserved area. The first one was based on survey data, is a spiral diagram. As you know, later I will make a detail for everyone for each of them. Using GIS-based approach model, the below distance-based approach, buffers, as you know, buffers, the basic and the primary analysis for QGIS and GIS to finding the people that they are is underserved in the area which is named underserved or hard to reach area. The next one is network analysis, surface analysis. These are the methods we tried to finding the underserved population area which they are live in Afghanistan, that not provided for them healthcare services. There are varieties of ways and methods to measure accessibility and analysis for health facility. However, the last method widely used by in health sector, measuring the availability of and the physical accessibility of health services contributes to understanding the performance of health systems, which facilitate the development of evidence-based health policies. So this is the methods we tried in QGIS or especially in ArcGIS to finding the villages which are underserved area. So a spiral diagram, as you know, there is a dimension for them: needs, main advantage, and major limitation. The needs for the spiral diagram, a survey to identify the points of origin and the health facility visited, household or patient exit survey. There is a needs to have a survey enhanced to make a spiral diagrams, a survey from the origin point, households, patient. So needs a difference and various survey to finding and using such a system called spider diagram. Geographic location of the point of origin, example household, example health facilities, geographic location, GPS. We need to have geographic location of that points, or example like household, like people which living there, like health facilities that are working there to make a spiral diagram. Geographic location of visited health facility. As I mentioned before, we need to have geographic information from the health facility. We need to have a points from the origin of health houses. We need surveys to make such a measurement called spiral diagram. The advantage, main advantage of such a system, such analysis in QGIS or ArcMaps, gives an illustration of the extent of the real catchment area. So also it have major limitation, requires an important field data collected exercise to get a representative picture. So as you know, the major limitation for the finding spiral diagram is collecting data. Here in Afghanistan, as you know, collecting health data is crucial, and in some area it's hard to collect data because it's a mountains area like Badakhshan provinces, as it's mountainous provinces and have a wider area. The collecting head data is some problem, as I mentioned here, major limitation. Using GIS-based approach model, second one is buffer. The buffer is the system which is running in QGIS, also in ArcMap, to finding underserved population, to finding the population which they are providing health cares, or to finding hard to reach areas. So buffers also the primary and basic system and basic analyze methods to finding those people. Why needs? So geographic location of the considered health facilities. So to finding underserved people, we need geographic location from the facilities. Maximum travel time to nearest health facility, distance, speed. So we need distance also here. A geographic software to draw the buffer around each health facility. For finding such a method for finding underserved or hard to reach area people or settlement which they are not providing health services, we need these things. Advantage, easy to implement once we have the location of the facility. Yeah, as you know better, if we have the location of the facilities, we can run it easily in QGIS to make a buffer for those facilities. The buffer show the health cover of the area. So if you want to use this model, it's also the good model to finding the coverage for each health facility and finding the underserved village settlement. Major limitation, only realistic in flat areas. Yeah. When we run the buffer, one point we should saved in our system, that buffer catchment area buffer system or model just use in flat areas. It does not belong to distance, so only realistic in flat areas, and where everybody's traveling by foot, does not take barriers into account. Yeah, there is in Afghanistan, in such a geographical areas, there's a lot of barriers like mountains, like rivers, like bridges. So in buffer model system, when we are running that, it not consider that points. So it's just we are using just that system in flat areas. Managing the overlaps between buffers. So as you see the screen, I make maps using QGIS, also using ArcGIS. What we done, so let me make some detail about the buffer, then I will consider and I will make detail about the how we use this system and what's the outputs of the system. As you know, a buffer is likely the most commonly used tools within the proximity analysis method. Buffer analyzes the determination of a zone around a geographic feature. Here's the geographic feature is villages. Here's the geographic feature is facilities, as you see in the screen, containing locations that are within a specific distance of that feature. The buffer zone or just buffer. The buffers typically measure it in units of distance, such as feet, meters, or kilometer, as you know, and represent a specific radius or wide around the feature. According to the policy of the Ministry of Public Health, so the hard to reach area or being a mountaineer, to have a road, a river without bridge, or a snowy winter. As I mentioned in the first slide about the hard to reach area definition, so these points belongs to that. Methods to finding wide areas. As you see in the maps, there is some facility with the buffers systems. What we done to find wide areas using ArcGIS? First of all, using health facility points with province, district, village, and health shields raster areas. We make them together to find our underserved area population which they are living there. Then we are applying 5-kilometer buffer analysis for each health facility in ArcGIS software, also in QGIS software. After making a 5-kilometer buffer, we are selecting by location analysis to find the villages that are outside the coverage area. So the villages or the population or the settlements which are outside our analysis in the buffer system, we call it that underserved areas. So as you see the screens here, list of provinces with a total and white area villages. This is our outputs which we are finding from the buffers for those villages, for those settlements and population which they are underserved area. As you see, the first one, name is double. It have total village of 1,721 villages. The white underserved village with their out of the coverage is 1215 villages. The percentages, the Badghis, Kandahar, Ghor, Herat, and Nimroz, they are the top underserved population that are outside the health cares that are not that they are not cares. So as you see that people which are don't have access to the health care systems or services. The another methods is travel time basis, why advantage and what is the major limitation. Let's see, focus on the needs, why we need to make such a meters or network analysis. Several meters travel time basis, so we find those underserved area and provided a result to the Ministry of Public Health to make a decision to provide health services for them. What is the need for this method? Geographic location of the considered health facility, the road network, a travel scenario, and a GIS software or QGIS software tool to be able to perform and analyze. What's the main advantage? Realistic in countries where most of the population use the road to reach healthcare, bus, car, or motorcycle. The advantage of this system for those countries which they are for where the most population use the roads to reach to the health cares. They're using buses, they're using cars, motorcycles to reach to facilities. But this system also have the major limitation. Does not cover area not touching the road network. As I mentioned in the needs, the road network, a travel scenario. So it's also the major limitation. Good for referral analysis. The another approach or model is surfaces. What's the need for this system? Geographic location of the health facilities also for this system. Digital elevation model DEM, road network, land cover distribution, a travel scenario, a GIS or QGIS software to generate the travel time distribution guide. Main advantage allows us covering the wild steady area and a travel scenario that could be considered. Major limitation, data intensive approach. Let's focus on the geographic coverage. What's geographic coverage? Why we using geographic coverage? Before going ahead, let me to make some details about this, why we're using this approach. One of the method of selecting site for establishing, which assign a health facilities to a certain geographical area and compares it with the national coverage. Second, the second method is based on health facility proximity coverage. A health facility should cover a certain radial distance, and this is compared with the national average, while ameliorating the health facility network. But in both case, either the geographical area or radial distance covered by health facility is taken into account, and the population living within that area or in that proximity of a particular health facility. As you see the screen, geographic coverage measure how physical accessible a health service is to the target population, taking the capacity of each health facility, providing the service into account. So the method and the calculation, as you see in the screen, proportion of the target population that can physically access and receive a given health services for a specific travel time unit percentage. What's the geographical cover advantage? The measurement considers how the health facility service are geographically distributed compared to the spatial distribution of the target population and the environment such population must cross the reach the services. Cross-border movement, the capacity of each health facility, also to address the major limitation and complement the measure of the accessibility coverage measures. Major limitation adds the needs to have information about the capacity of health facilities. The another method, distance versus travel time, we analyzes this model also in QGIS and ArcGIS to finding the way to provide health services, healthcare services for those people and population which they live in underserved area. As you know, people are better at estimating time than distance. Time is a more comparable measure than this example urban vs rural. As we compare this time and travel in urban and rural, we can find a better result. Distance does not vary while time is depending on transportation media, the condition of the patient, and the other factors such as climate. In emergency context, physical accessibility is being measured in time, not in distance. Also, the another methods, isotropic versus isotropic movement. As you know, isotropic is equal in all direction. We also analyze the movement of the person, which they come from his or her home to reach the facility to get healthcare services. We analyzes this system also to finding the underserved area population and isotropic on anisotropic movement. So as you know, isotropic tropic equal in all the directions. It means the isotropic model is the same in all direction, and an isotropic value depends on the direction. The anisotropic model reach the cell more rapidly in some direction than others. We analyzes the movement of a person, how he reach or how he comes from her home, and we analyzes the distance also. We analyzes also by the buffer, is he in the coverage of the area or not. The main point is here, wide area analysis underserved population. A wide area, as I mentioned in the first slide, refer to area or villages located by 1 hour walking distance or more than 5 kilometers from the nearest public health facility and currently not served by any public health facility, taking into account geographic, environmental, and socioeconomic factors. This is a geospatial analysis based on every sophisticated layers of data collected across intersecting dataset. This analysis is the broadest gap analysis in terms of health services available to the most vulnerable population in Afghanistan. The analysis has combined population concentration, health facility presence, basic primary healthcare services, topography, and social providing, factoring all the dimensions to determine where additional services are most needed. In September 28 to 2022, the wide area analysis along with the other information products was launched. The launching was undertaken to deliver the analyzing to the broader reach of stakeholders. So why we do such a system? This is the aim, as you see in the screen. Any question here?
Can you hear me yet?
Sorry, I don't have your voice. So, is there any question? How can you translate the duration of walking of the buffer zone? Okay, let me see. Okay, how you can translate the duration of walking to the buffer zone? This is the question?
Mm-hmm. Yes.
Yeah. To translate the duration of walking to the buffer size, we use some approach. So in the QGIS, as you know well, there is a method in ORS tools. So we using path distance and isochronic distance to measure the walking to the buffer size zone. So as I mentioned before, we are also using isochronic and systems and methods approach. As I mentioned before, we use travel and time, we use buffer, we use network analysis to finding such a system and provide it for the ministries. Is there any question? Let's go ahead. In the next slide, white area analysis concepts. As I mentioned before, what's a white area? What's a hard to reach area? So the concept is to finding the people which they are not having access to the health system, primary health care.
Oh, I've lost sound there for a little while. Did anyone else lose the sound? I think Malik's internet connection just had a little dip. Let's wait and see if it comes back. Thank you for everyone for being understanding. We are having some technical trials with this one. So hopefully we'll get back on the way soon. All right. Hi there, Malik. Can you hear me? Can anyone else in the meeting hear me? Just let me know if we're still here. Definitely got some gremlins in the system today. Let's see if Malik can rejoin and continue. I hope so. I'm finding this quite interesting. Let's see. Thank you, Howard. Thanks, Ila. I'm glad you can hear me. That's great. Our speaker cannot hear me. That is part of our technical difficulties today. So we're doing a little bit of communication via message, as well as the speaker being able to speak. So please bear with us. We are absolutely doing our best. And as soon as Malik is back with us, we will continue with the talk for today. All right, let me check. All right, I'm just contacting the speaker via email, and if we can't continue because the internet is down, I will call the session to a close, and we may rejoin for next month's open day to finalize this specific talk. I'm just waiting to hear back from our speaker, and then I will let everybody know. Thank you for your patience. I know it's been a bit of a gremlin in the system for this last session. All right. All right, great stuff. So I think Malik is having some connectivity issues. I'm sure that we all understand those. So what I'm going to do is I'm actually going to bring the stream to a close. Thank you to everyone who was able to attend the QGIS Open Day this month. Next month, we already have a session on LISMAP that's on the schedule. And I will re-invite Malik to finalize his presentation, and hopefully we can get the rest of his really interesting talk. It's always fascinating to see how GIS is used to help in humanitarian efforts. I think the use of GIS and even your simple buffer analysis is really helpful for being able to allow people to plan effectively and to provide really great healthcare to people who don't necessarily have it, or people who are underprivileged in some way, or just far from healthcare facilities. So I think this is really a fascinating subject, and hopefully next month we can give it another try. I thank everybody who was viewing today for bearing with us in this last session where we had quite a few gremlins in the system. And I will see everybody for the QGIS Open Day next month. Thank you, everyone, for joining.